Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Who What Now Gaming Podcast for consumers by consumers, where we ask the questions: who are you? What got you into gaming? And what type of gamer are you now? I am your humble host, Josh Stewart, and today I am so unbelievably, genuinely, incredibly excited for this episode. I've been talking this episode up so long. I've been so excited to have this conversation with you. I am not even kidding. Please, everyone, please help me welcome one of the 5 co-hosts to formerly Drunks and Dragons and now Greetings Adventures. Hello, Nika Howard. How are you?
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. You made me sound real cool.
You are super cool. Are you kidding me?
But also, I will have to say, we were just talking about how cool you are. So
lies. All of this is lies.
No.
We just spent the last hour.
I'm in awe.
I've been fangirling this whole time. Are you kidding me? This has been an incredible so far experience, just to be able to I completely threw just that message out into the wind, hoping that maybe something would happen.
Yes.
So even just the fact that you responded.
Listen, you never know if you don't ask, and if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So
that's solid. That is a solid point. I love that.
I heard that on TikTok yesterday, so I can't really. Actually, no, I made that up.
Don't give the credit away. Don't give the credit away.
As soon as I said that, I was like, "Damn, no one knows that but me." What? I did that. I said that.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Well, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so good. It's very morning here. I'm Central Times, and we call it the Lord's time.
Lord's time, I love it.
So yeah, it's I'm having morning coffee with you and just hanging and vibing. I do have a little snory dog behind me, so hopefully he's hiding in the squishmallow, so hopefully he's not too loud.
Yeah, we when I do things like this, or currently, I actually had to kick him out. I have a little cat, hangs out. His name is Buddies, and he's very, very funny. He's just basically just this grumpy old man in a cat form, but he likes to sleep on his back, and so he snores so loud. And sometimes I'm like, "Hey, man, we're trying to do something here. What are you doing?" But he's like this tiny little cat with just full snoring action. And I'm like, bud.
You can't. Yeah, no, that's how he is. I was going to say you should bring him in here and we could have them do a little snore off and see whose snores are the loudest.
Just more aggressive.
Yeah. Who's got the more old man snores?
He loves being in here. I don't know if it's because of the lights or if I actually have.
You're in there.
Well, I wish that was the case. I think it's because I have a big recliner in here. So I think he just claims the chair as his own, and I'm cool with that. We're super. It's a nice little vibe out and everything. But yeah, sometimes I'm trying to focus and he's just snoring away. I'm like, buddy, I don't know if anybody else can hear you, but I can, and it's very distracting.
You are killing me right now.
It's bonkers, but I love him.
Yeah,
he's a goofball.
We love our little babies.
Absolutely. Well, so let's. I think the best way to start is just by starting. So I want to go all the way back to the very beginning,
yes.
Kind of just where did everything kind of begin? You're very big into the TTRPG world. Obviously, you're on Greetings Adventures. You do a lot of the live action aspect of the Dungeons and Dragons. But we also know that you started this journey with Pathfinder, and when you jumped into D&D, I know that in the very beginning it was definitely an adjustment.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to start back. Where was that first experience getting into TTRPGs?
It started with getting stuck in traffic.
Really?
My partner and I were driving to Kansas City and we got stuck in traffic, and they had been playing since forever, since college. Every weekend and stuff they'd go play, and I'd be like, that's some nerd shit. I'm going to the mall. And
Doing the
then
cool kid stuff.
yeah, I'm gonna go shopping. And I don't even remember what it was. Oh, they had one of the books. They were just like reading it, and I was like, okay, so this is like what you play like Lord of the Rings, and they're like, yeah, and I was like, so like you're just like walking around on your little adventures and everything, and they're like, yeah, that's exactly what it is, and I was like, tell me about it. So over the course of 2 hours, I got red pilled into liking D&D, and being like, maybe this nerd shit would actually be fun. And so then we started, just it was called a freeform campaign where there wasn't really so much. It was like very, very basic rules where a friend was like telling the story, and then we just rolled. Basically, if it was like above 10 you succeeded, below 10 you didn't succeed, and that was it. There wasn't like damage or stuff like that, so we could just say we wanted to do
Nice.
stuff. And that was like really fun for like getting in and like telling story and like getting used to it. And then we met some friends who, one of them was like a lifelong DM basically, and he was like, well, I always offer to run an alien game for folks if they want to like play, see how you like it and everything. And me loving horror, I was like, oh my god, yes, sign me up, I want to play aliens. So we played that, and that hooked me, and that was like, oh my god, maybe, I don't know, like 13 years ago. No, 15 years ago. Too long ago. It's a very long time ago. Um and yeah, ever since then. And then we played that group played Pathfinder pretty exclusively. Pathfinder and 3.5. So that's why I like 3.5, because they're pretty much the same. But yeah, then the crew was in 4E, and I learned that by listening to the podcast, and now we're in 5E, and I haven't played Pathfinder in like 3+ years, 4+ years at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a long journey, but yeah, from nothing, from nerd shit to I love nerd shit. Here I am.
Absolutely. I also love nerd shit. That's my whole like existence. I just the day that I realized that I would much rather be happy with all my nerd shit than to kind of just pretend like I'm not that kind of person was honestly just like the happiest like switch in my entire life. Going from
It's
like, you have that moment where you're like, no, I'm a cool kid, I'm gonna do my cool stuff, and then one day you're just like, oh no, I'm 1,000% a nerd, and this is what makes me happy, and that's what makes me cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I literally, I have just recently been leaning into, I love, like, I've got some over here. You can't really see them. I love blind boxes and everything. And I am just like the Funko Pops and all of that stuff, like your little tchotchkes and
Mm-hmm.
plushies and all of that. I I love it, and it brings me so much joy. And I used to feel the same way where I'm like, ugh, I'm like a grown ass adult. Why do I need, but you know what? It makes me so happy. And the joy that it brings, it's just heal your inner child and be a
Yes.
nerd, be whatever, that makes you happy. And whenever you accept that, like you said, it's so much better. It's so freeing
Yeah, a
and
thousand
fun.
percent. Absolutely. Yeah, my wife and I joke a lot. We're big like movie people, so we like to quote things and basically it's all the time, always. But one of our favorite ones is from Step Brothers, where it's be your inner dinosaur. Let your inner
Yes.
dinosaur out. And I'm like, that's just something that we've embraced and we love. Like, of course, like,
It's
of course
so
I'm not a real dinosaur, but I want to be a dinosaur. Like, be a dinosaur. Like, that's what we're all about. That's where it's at. That was
that's such a good
fantastic.
movie for so many reasons.
Oh
There's a
my
lot of
god,
life lessons
it's incredible.
in there.
It's the best. I'll tell you, this has been. I started kind of in the same aspect where it was more of like a how do I say? So my friend and I were sitting around the table one night, just enjoying just company at the apartment that my wife and I were living in, and we were just goofing around, having like conversations and such, and we were just talking about what's the nerdiest thing that one could possibly do. And they're like, well, there's that D&D game, and we're like, that has got to be the most like all we can imagine is a bunch of like math heavy super nerds sitting around a table and just enjoying just doing math problems, and we're like, this is ridiculous. And then we're like,
Who likes math?
yeah, and then we're joking about it, and we're like, you got swords and arrows, and you got to fight people, and we're like, it'd be so dumb to sit around and play D&D. And then we turned around and we're like, I mean, what if we what if we did actually play some D&D? What if we were just wouldn't it be so funny if we just like started a D&D game? We're like, that'd be so crazy, right? And then
That'd
like
be
the following weekend we were like, you want to try this D&D thing out? Like, should we maybe see what all the hype's about? And we haven't turned back. It's been all the time. It's the best.
I really feel like D&D is like trying drugs for the first time, because it's always with a group of friends, and you're like, I don't know, like, should we do this? Should we actually try this?
I'll do
Are
it
we
if you
gonna
do it.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
I've never heard it put like that, but I don't think it can ever be described any other way from here on out. That is the best description ever.
You meet one shady person in an alley who's like, I got a lot of games I can run for you kids.
Yeah. The first pack of dice are on me. You gotta buy.
And you get hooked. You can't have. How many
best.
people have just one set of dice? Literally no one.
I talk about this all the time on the podcast, where I've actually, one day I went to I think it might have actually been like PAX Unplugged, but I went up to one of the vendors and I was like, what can I get? What would it take for me to just buy just a box of dice?
Yeah.
And like where can we get to, right? And obviously they weren't just like, hey, we're going to give you everything we have right now because the rest of the day is super free. Like, fair enough. So I got their card and I ordered online just it was like 150 sets of dice, and I was like, this is what I want. And so I got them shipped to the house, and I opened up. I took basically just like, I had the kitchen or the dining room table, with our nice like layout and everything. I just put one arm in the other hand, just pushed it all off to the side. I'm like, this is now my D&D like dice setup area. And I like undid every single bag. I put them all out over the table, just this spread of all these dice. And then I bought a bunch of bags, and I made basically this dedication to any time that I ever ask anyone if they've ever played D&D, if the answer is no, first I say, can I show you like what D&D, like my version of D&D is like? Let me be the DM. Let me like show you this like crazy adventure. And my gift to you is, here's your first set of dice. Like, go through this big bag and pick your first set of dice.
Yeah.
And so like,
oh
now
my God, that's so cool.
I just have this huge bag of dice where like anybody wants to play D&D, like I've got you. Like, let me be the one to provide you with your very first set of dice, and then just go wild, mix and match. Pick whatever you need. Let me be your dice dealer.
let me be your safe entrance and guide into the world of Dungeons and Dragons.
1,000%. Yeah.
And then you can start freebasing dice on your own.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I might as well just open up a dice shop. It's getting kind of ridiculous, but
you gotta cycle through them. Find some way to like. I wish that there was a way that you could like trade in old dice for new dice. Yeah, like a dice donation for people who need dice and dice that need homes.
That's so genuine. I love that. Yes. We'll just make a little commercial here.
Yeah.
Different sets of dice. Some are just sitting on a table with dust on it.
One's like back behind your desk. The D12 is back there.
It's sitting next to like an empty dog bowl, and you're like, oh no, it's so sad. Yeah. Do you have like a favorite set of dice, like one that you're like your go-to?
Yes. Well, okay, so they're not my go-to, but I do have a favorite set of dice. I have a set of aluminum cage dice that are really cool. I don't use them a lot because they actually like get cocked all the time because of the what is it? I guess the balancing is off or whatever on them. But I love them and they're so cool. And I'm trying to get them out here. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. Oh no, you can't. But like if you hold them and shake them, they like make a little like bell jingle jingle
Yeah.
almost. Oh, you can't do it. Dang it. Anyway, they're really cool. I love them. And Die Hard sent them to me, or else I would not have ever gotten a set of like these. But I guess like also my other like my real favorites that I kind of used all the time are my red and gold ones that I had that were like my Lonnie set. I loved
Yes.
those. I used those so much. That's probably those ones are my favorite that get used the most.
Yeah.
I try to get
I love that.
I try to give each character like their own set of dice that like fits their vibe and everything.
Now, when you find a character and you've like selected your set of dice, do you like religiously stick to that set of dice? Like what happens happens?
Yes, yes, unless if they're if they're rolling really bad, then I will like I have a little thing, a little tray of different D20s that I'll run through,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have a dice jail that I put the bad ones in.
Oh my! We were just talking about that on like I think it was like the last episode or the previous episode, like before that.
Nice.
We found I think we first saw it on TikTok. Somebody took they're like these little frames that have like this like stretchy plastic in the middle, and
Oh
people put
yes.
like
Yeah, yeah,
Hot
yeah.
Wheels cars and stuff in them. But like the D&D community or the TTRPG communities basically turned them into like dice
Dice
jails.
jails. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, this one's actually it's super cool. Well, all of them are super cool, but this was made by someone who listens to the show. So like on the bottom it has our little like Drunks and Dragons symbol and our dragon, and then it says custom made for me and has my name. And
Aw,
then the front says the dice giveth and the dice taketh away. With a little D20 and that one. So and
that
then
is
it has
incredible.
the video people get to see this, but I guess if you're just listening to it, it's a small wooden box and it has a little oh my gosh, what is that? Latch and
Hmm.
lock on it. And then the top of it is open and it has little bars, so it's like actually in jail. I love
That
it.
is
I wish
incredible.
I wish I could remember who it was that made this because I don't remember if they sell them or not, but I don't I'm gonna say they don't sell them. They don't sell them.
It's a one of a kind.
Yeah.
1,000%. That is incredible. I love that so much. I
That's
no, I talk all day, every day. Please, if
I
no
was just
one
gonna say
stops me,
that
I keep going.
that's like one of the coolest things about like getting to play D&D and being on the podcast is just getting to see how talented so many people are and like stuff that people can make and do and everything. Like I don't know, make concert sets and stuff like that. It's like crazy.
Maloney. There is. I will say the amount of fan art that you guys like receive is super incredible.
I love it. It makes me so happy. I love whenever people create our characters based on like how they see them and everything. Like I know we give out descriptions of them, but I also like I love seeing someone be like, I think that this is what Chuck should look like, or in my
Mm-hmm.
head, this is what I imagine. So that is always like so freaking cool. And like I have a lot, the wall behind me basically is almost everything that either people have given me or um are like of my characters and stuff that I've played, and I love it. It's like my favorite wall for art.
I love
So
it.
cool. People are so talented.
Oh, 1,000%. I've basically started. At one point I decided that the room that I do all of the this work in and stuff, I wanted to decorate it with just a bunch of nerdy stuff. And then one day I
Yes.
realized that like the amount of friends that I have that are unbelievably talented, whether they be, in some form of like, the video creation or, artistic, creations, painters, artists, videographers. Like I've realized that I have so many incredible, talented friends, and then the guests are so unbelievably talented. So like I've gotten to the point where now I don't decorate anything of my own. Now I like if like if a guest has like a Patreon or like a store that they sell like merch on or something, I'm like I'll decorate this area with just everybody else's stuff because these are the people that I care
Yeah.
about. You know what I mean? Like why
Yeah.
I can buy the other stuff no problem, but so can everyone else. So like
Right.
I love the individuality of these things. That's just kind of now my goal. So now I have this blank wall that I'm getting ready to fill up with everybody
Yes.
else's stuff.
It's my wall. I have the wall that's over here to me, is all of the art that I've gotten from different like conventions or like as gifts and stuff. So I've got like a couple of embroidery things that like friends have made me. So I have that wall going. And I get, it's like, I need another wall. I need more walls because that's what
Yeah.
I just want to cram. Now, I know like gallery walls are a thing, but what about like a gallery wall where it's like literally every inch of the wall has like a picture or something on it? That would be really cool. Like a
Oh,
maximalist wall.
like no blank space whatsoever.
No blank spaces. Yeah.
I love that. I
Now, maybe I should do
you should 1,000% do that.
that.
I've gotten to the point now where I love putting everything on display. And so my struggle is that I want to pack everything behind me because I want everyone to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like everything that you don't see on camera, that's just like where I keep all like my tech stuff and the other microphones and the headsets and all that. Like the boring stuff is there. And then so
Yeah.
like when you walk into this room, it almost seems like there's a weird divide going through the middle, and it's just super boring this way, and then all of my cool stuff is that way. So I just have everything just packed as tight as I can on the shelves, and like
It's like that's how everyone's stream room is.
yeah.
I just went to Tim and Jennifer's house like not last week but the week before, and that's exactly how Tim's room is. Like if you go into the room where they stream, it's like really cool in front of the camera, behind the camera, nothing but cables
Yeah.
and everything else that it's like don't look behind the computer
Yep.
screens.
Yeah, I have like the two monitors, I have my lights, and then I just have these blackout curtains because
Mm,
just the way that this room is, it's directly into the eye of the sun, and I'm just like, I'm getting
yeah.
blinded all the time, and it's the best though. I love it.
It is weird to me because we normally record in the evening, so it is weird to me to be like recording, but it's also very sunny outside still.
Yeah, yeah, it's fun because when I do the podcast, it's I do it during the day, but when I do any other content, it's always at like towards the end of the day or after like my kids have gone to sleep or something. And so
Mm-hmm.
and because I'm a night shift worker, like that's my prime time. So when when I do these, and that's why I told you in the beginning before we started recording, I'm like, hey, I just look like this because I'm sleepy a lot.
I mean, who isn't though? What are you doing after this? Nap?
I mean, I would like to. What I'll tell people is I'll nap, but I'll probably edit and do other stuff and hang out with my,
Damn.
hang out with my youngest, and we'll
Yeah.
probably, I'll hear the next great adventure about Peppa Pig or,
Mm,
something to that effect. We've been obsessed
nice.
with watching, like funny cats and dog videos.
I
Um,
mean, I'm obsessed with watching those too. So.
Listen, in the beginning, I was like, "Hey, you know what? No problem. I'll work on my stuff, and I'll put this on. I have a big TV that sits like kind of right here, and so
Mm-hmm.
my youngest will sit on the recliner, and then I'll have that. But then oftentimes, I find myself not getting any work done because I'm also enjoying the funny cat video. I'm like, this is hilarious. How did he get in the bathroom? Why? Did you? I'm like, buddy, did you think that it could fit under the door frame? I didn't. This is incredible. Like.
Yeah. Why is that cat afraid of a cucumber?
Yeah. Did you know that cats bark? I didn't know cats bark,
Yeah, I'm like, you show me a video of a Frenchie, it doesn't matter. I'm done. I'm cooked. I'm watching that for the next however
Mm.
long.
Oh my
However long
goodness.
as social media will give me those videos, I love animals being idiots and kids falling over. Those are funny videos.
Kids falling is the funniest shit ever, and
It's
I will
so
stand
funny.
by it. Okay, like,
Um, alternately, I just saw a video yesterday of kids trying to jump, like toddlers jumping,
oh
and they
yeah,
can't do it.
yeah,
And that was really funny too.
yeah. From like the knees up, it's you're like you're golden, but the feet never leave the ground, and you're like, you're getting there, buddy. You figured it out.
Oh man, they're
Yeah,
doing their
it's my
best.
favorite. They'll figure it out eventually,
Yeah.
you know.
Or they won't, and then they'll never jump.
Well, I mean, I guess, yeah. I don't really have a follow up. Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
crazy. I would love to meet like a 30-year-old
Someone who
adult
can't
who's like, I've never been able to jump. Actually, I
can't.
don't even know. Stairs are
They're like,
incredibly difficult. I don't. I get the whole one leg up at a time thing, but two of them, get out of here. Not happening. Not a chance. Uh,
oh my god.
well, with Greetings Adventures, there you've been with the show for a long time, and you have seen many arcs, many scenarios, many different situations. You know, a lot of happy, you know, giggly episodes, and a lot of very moving and heartfelt. You know, yeah, incredible. Out of everything that you've been a part of, what do you think has been the most like memorable to you? Like when someone brings up the show to you, like where does your mind immediately go?
Oh gosh. Okay, well as you were like talking about that stuff, I was thinking about like different points like while we were playing of like moments that I felt like fit that. So I was thinking about like the demon binder
Hmm.
and like whenever Jayla and Harper have like their chat and like the wedding and all of that stuff. But then also I don't it I also like and as a whole, I like to think or I often think about like GeeklyCon or like whenever we won the
Yes.
award. So it's like hard to say like what I think of immediately because it's like I don't know, it's kind of like everything.
It
That's a
sounds
bad
like
answer,
no.
but
I think I think you gave the best answer ever, and I think you just haven't realized it because what it sounds like, I genuinely what it sounds like is that out of everything that's happened with the show and you know in life and in the like in the minds world kind of thing, everything comes down to sitting with that group of amazing people and creating something so unbelievably magical that like you know, to you maybe, you know, a Tuesday night of just hanging out with some friends, but to so many of us, this is an escape from, you know, maybe some crazy shit that's going on in our lives right now. I know for me personally, I thought that I had picked my dream job and I was so unbelievably excited for it. And it turned out that my boss was a, how do I say it politely, like a pill popping alcoholic who was kind of like a
oh,
real big old butthole.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah. And so while I was kind of dealing with that and the like literally not knowing if I was going to get a paycheck that week, and going like 2-3 weeks at a time without like or 2 or 3 months at a time without a paycheck, but still being loyal to the company, trying to you know really establish my skills and you know where I'm at in my career and stuff. A lot of times what really got me through it was that I could put the show on and I could just lose myself in this like magical world. And like when I was getting frustrated and pissed off, I could still laugh. Like one of my genuinely one of my favorite moments that just it caught me so off guard. I probably looked like a lunatic to everybody else, but there was a moment when Bachman brings up the you know he creates that bear charger moment, and
Mhm.
you know while you know Tim Laney's having this like big scene, Bear Charger kept running in and being like, "Sister," and it kept cracking me up to like a point where like I would have to stop like working and just continue, just like really laugh. And it was such a moment that was like, you know what, the job sucks, but you know today at like 4 o'clock I'm gonna go home and everything's gonna be just fine. And so I
Yeah.
genuinely think that you know for a lot of us out there, yeah, it's an amazing show, but for some of us, this was an escape from a shitty situation, and I think
Yeah.
that's what truly. I will say, there, I'm a big tattoo person,
Oh
so
yeah.
the kind of like weirdly ironic thing was I went and got I got the tattoo of the show on my
Oh my
arm.
God.
Uh,
Yes. I remember seeing that.
yeah, the funny thing is that literally like I think it was like a week or two after I got it done, the announcement that the it was being
Name.
yeah, like the name, but the logo itself was being switched, and I was like, right, shit, all right. Fantastic. All right,
Yeah.
let's find another
It
body
gets
part. Here we go.
more
We gotta label another spot here.
room. To be fair, we've talked for so long, like, what should the dragon's name be? And it was always like a joke that we call him Drunky. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I've called him forever. Drunky
Yeah,
is his name. It's his name amongst us. And last week we were just talking about how like we're still drunks and
a
dragons to
1000%.
us. Like
It's to
we
me,
just
it's still Drunks and Dragons. I understood like when the name switched. Like I understand like the reasoning for it, and business and just but
one of those stupid
yeah,
things
but
about
but
the world
reality, like
works.
I think it's like one of those things that we all just collectively agree, like it's still Drunks and
It's
Dragons.
still, yeah,
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 nothing
it's still
changed.
the same thing. We still tell the same fart and piss jokes.
Yeah, and literally, it'll never not be funny. It's always gonna
I'm
be
so
great.
glad. I really don't want our viewership to or listeners to like wake up someday and and say, you know what, I don't think that farts are funny anymore
Yeah,
because
yeah. I don't think any of us were like, oh, another fart joke. No, we're all children at heart. Those jokes are still funny. They're incredible.
yeah.
Uh, I will say I have always loved your character creation. You have created very memorable characters, at least for me personally. But I loved that you always love to give that extra mile of description to like why that character is the way that they are, and I am so much the same way. I
Oh
love describing the like I don't like being at a table where someone says, "Oh, just say what you want to do." And I said, "Well, I can just say what I want to do, but I want you to know why I'm doing what I'm doing, And I love
yeah.
to really dive into it because I feel like it gives flavor, it gives a little extra, backstory to your character and such. But you have also brought in things that you're interested in at that moment or in that time of creation, and it transfers into those characters, which I feel like brings so much more life to those characters. So my question to you is like, where's that creativity like process come from? Like, where do you, when you're set, when the task is handed to you and they say, hey, we need a new character, where do you go? Where's that place of creativity?
Usually it'll be like some sort of idea of like I have like I'll be watching a show or something and there'll be a character that I like and I'll be like, "Oh, I really like how this character is sassy or this character is whatever." And get like different little like personality quirks from different pop culture, but then I also try to like bring in pieces of myself because in that way it's like it's easier to play. Um whenever you can still like act but not have to like act on everything. And
Mm-hmm.
so like Lonnie, I had been watching the Hatfield and McCoys on the History Channel, and which is a really good little mini series. And it was like I started watching that and it was I don't even remember like why I went with Wood Elf. Oh, because I went with a Wood Elf so that she could curse, but then I ended up not even cursing that much with her. She was just a country Wood Elf. Um, and I,
Wasn't there some I'm trying to remember. There was some pull from like the I want to say it was like the CW Flash.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah. I like to min max characters in different ways and like build a
Savesies.
character. And so I didn't totally min-max her though, because I could have gotten her speed faster and I chose not to because I wasn't trying to be like that. So I made a very modest fast character, and I've been watching the Flash, and I was like, I love the Flash, he's so great. So that was my like pop culture I'd been watching, and I was like, I love how fast he goes. I want to make a character that does that. Like, how fast can I make them? And so then, look up RPG, what is it, the RPG bot thing,
Mm-hmm.
that says like, this is your best feat and this is this, and looked and kind of scoured around and was like, I can make this character. And then pulled like from the Hatfield and McCoy show and from Mindhunter, and because I was watching Mindhunter too, and Ed Kemper talks a lot about egg salad sandwiches and eating them, and so it was just one of those where I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, she loves egg salad sandwiches now. um
Yeah,
and
I loved when you would like, it was almost like a nudge to Michael Demaro, just that little bit of like, hey, if I ran this fast and then I just started to kind of vibrate a little bit, could I phase through? And it was just, in the beginning it was like, no, like, stop that. And then it just eventually, every DM gets to that point where you're just like, yeah, just phase through
sure,
it, but it
whatever,
has to be this thick of, whatever. And you're like, okay, can I phase it? And you're like, it's 1 inch too big. What are we gonna do?
but it's like I love Michael. There is I have told him, I joke with him whenever we make characters now. I'm like, okay, I will not take a cloak of displacement, because Jayla was like literally just so tanky. I had so
Mm-hmm.
many different ways that you could not hit me, or that like I could avoid attacks and stuff. So she was just like physically hard to kill. And then Lonnie, I can just do different, like, monks are so good, and I could just do different
You
things,
could
so
do
I didn't really
so
have to
much.
worry about like her mortality either. But Rourke is a little squishy baby, and she's died twice.
Yes, like I said, the character creations, like, it almost feels like they have such a beautiful personality, like right out of the gate, which definitely is something that I've seen a lot of players like struggle with. I've struggled with it, a couple times, just trying to find that voice. But you have a true talent for just like, you've created a character and you're like, this is the idea that I have, and then just bringing that character to life. It I don't know if it's difficult because you make it seem so flawless.
Oh
It
my
truly
god,
is. It's like, it's
thank
an art.
you.
It's an art.
Wow,
It's
thank
wonderful.
you, I appreciate it. Lonnie is the easiest, because Lonnie is just me whenever I'm drunk. So you get me drunk enough, and my um I call it marble mouth, but like your mouth just starts slurring
Yeah.
everything together. And then that's whenever I've lived in Missouri for my whole life. And so I can sound like I'm from Missouri, but I often try very hard not to. Um and it comes out whenever I drink. And so Lonnie, I was like, I'm just gonna like lean into it.
Yeah. Just give in.
Let's do it.
I love that.
And it helps.
That's fantastic. I love
Sometimes
that.
it's hard. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes, like Lonnie was super easy. Jayla, sometimes I'd have to like find it. You have to like kind
Mm-hmm.
of get your little anchor points, things that I would have different songs. I don't even remember all of them now, but I'd have like different kind of like bad bitch songs whenever it
Hell
was like
yeah.
Dark Jayla and stuff. So
Absolutely.
that's
I do the same thing when I feel like I'm DMing. And if I know that,
yeah.
like, if I know that my players are going to get into like real sticky situations, I oftentimes try to expand my DMing skills or my abilities to be able to tell a story and connect details together. And sometimes, like, I could be super playful and enjoy it and stuff, but I also know that, as the DM, like, what's going to happen next. Your players don't.
Mm.
So I sometimes, if I know that a big moment is coming up, I will like I have like a little playlist that's, you know, the real like amped up kind of ones where I'm like, this is gonna get me in that mindset that I need to be in to be able to do this. And then there's some that are like super deep, like dark, somber songs, whatever, which kind of allow me to kind of like take that mood into like going into you know, our game. You know, I might be able to start with saying like, you know, like, okay, well, this is your situation and these are the things that are going to be happening, but this is your environment, and like, you know, kind of bringing the voice down, and you know, this is, you know, you don't know what's coming around the corner, you don't know where your, you know, your next, you know, rest area is going to be, or, you know, whatever it may be, and like just that tone to be able to do so, which is very fun because I'm neurospicy. So tone is my strong suit. It's but it's a lot of fun, and I think that's the show itself does an amazing job, like setting those goofy moments, but also like being very serious.
We try. Whenever it's like, I think that we do a good job of like just reading the scenario and like
Yeah.
how each other are feeling and like playing that. And so we've had times where like we have never, I'm trying to think of like, there have maybe been 3 times on the whole show where we've like talked about something before and been like, and it's mostly Michael being like, "Hey, if theoretically this happened, would y'all be okay with that?" And we're
Mm-hmm.
like, "Yeah, sure." But other than that, like we don't talk about stuff, you know, beforehand, or like, "Oh, we should, you know, do this," or
Right.
we and like plan it out. So whenever we have those like really organic moments, it's so cool and it's so fun because it's like it's us playing a game, but it's also like us forgetting we're playing a game and like
Yeah.
actually getting to be those characters and everything. Um, and it's like, I don't know, it's that does not like astound me. What is it? It's just, it's fun. It's a fun part of a fun
Absolutely.
aspect of getting to do that and
Absolutely.
make the show.
Yeah, there was 2 points as like a, you know, a lover of the show and you know, an active listener and such. In the very beginning when I discovered the show and I started just like diving deep, like real heavy, I there was these things that one broke me in a great way, but also like every time on my like phone, it'll be like, you know, sometimes you're like your music will be like, hey, you haven't listened to this song in a while, like you remember this one kind of thing. And then Needle in the Hay pops up, and immediately I just get like horrible flashbacks. I'm like,
No.
what are you doing to me? Why are you doing this? You know? I'm like, why? No, another character? Fantastic. Great. Thank you.
I was just thinking, I was like, man, we've been going long enough that there's like new listeners wouldn't even realize,
Right.
like, they wouldn't know it coming. They'd hear the little dun dun dun
Yep.
dun dun. They wouldn't know. We need to traumatize new listeners, is
It's
basically.
like it's like the initiation. Like
Yes.
you have to have one favored character just die off so that you can just kind of like,
Yes.
you got to feel the pain, you know?
Yeah.
One of my other favorite things that would happen is that early in my listening of the show, I would basically just download, like I would work like 11-hour days, and so
Oh gosh.
I would just pack, like I would download as many episodes as I possibly could, and I would just listen to them back to back to back to back to back.
Yes.
And what was,
Honestly, that's the way to do it. I used to
yes,
do that at work whenever I was just listening and at the beginning too.
well, and it would crack me up because at the beginning of the show, or at the beginning of the episode, with each episode, it would start with, what did we do last week? And then in the beginning, everybody would roll. And I'm like, for me, it's been like 3 minutes. But for you guys, it's been so much longer. So everybody's like, I don't have a clue. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
We just did it. It's right there. What do you mean you
And
don't know?
it was even worse back then because we weren't recording every week. So it
Yeah.
was like 2 weeks in between, and we were drunk during
Yeah.
the second half of it. So
Yeah.
it's like, no, we don't remember shit.
Yeah, it
That
was
was so much fun.
every
I
other
loved it and I
episode.
hated.
Every other episode just had this like super goofy vibe to it, and you're like, all right. So then when it was
We
like,
know which one that was.
yeah. It was, so what happened last week? Well, this happened, then this person jumped off a cliff, and you're like, oh, okay. No, that was later in the night. That was a you know, close to the end of the night episode. It's fantastic.
Uh,
That's
it
wonderful.
is. It really, I mean, that is fun. I do try to, there's a while where I was like, not drinking as much, which is fine. That's fine. I
Yeah,
don't need to drink, but also it is really fun to have some
yeah,
drinks and play D&D. It's the
yeah,
highlight of my week.
yeah. I mean, and and even not to like, I don't know, not to promote it, but sometimes it can be an extremely helpful tool.
Yes. Oh my God.
I was playing in a game where some it was expressed to myself and the DM. Were the most like experienced of the player group about kind of understanding coming up with your character's tone, your character's voice, like where do you go from it. And you don't always have to have a goofy voice. Sometimes it can just be your voice, but in a different mannerism or so. And so one of the players created a character that's more of a like a suave individual, but is kind of like how when someone's like, hey, this guy's got like a scotch in his hand. What does he sound like? And your brain just creates a voice, and you're like, that was what he was going for. And so
Mhm.
we were thinking like, hey, well, why don't you actually put some scotch in a glass and hold it, and then take a couple sips as you're playing the game, like be that character, become. And I'll tell you what, the character change that he went from just trying to pretend to be something to just being like, oh, I'm just gonna be that,
Yeah.
acting. It
Yes.
nailed it. It was such an amazing change to see him become more confident with his character and the role playing aspect. And that, honestly, that's some of my favorite moments in like any kind of like D&D or TTRPGs. Just seeing someone finally step into the shoes of their character and
Yes.
not just play the character.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I feel like whenever you first start, at least for me, whenever I was like first starting to play, the actual like aspect of having to act in front of someone or like be someone that I wasn't was like very intimidating and like
Mm-hmm.
very nerve wracking. But doing stuff like that and having, like having a little drink or whatever took the edge off. And that the first moment where you like kind of just forget that you're playing a game and you play your character, it's so cool. And like you said, that's the moment when your character just like comes alive as an actual like part of the story and not just a played piece of paper, a played group of stats on a piece of paper.
Absolutely. Yeah,
It's
it's
cool.
incredible. It's in a way, like, I keep trying to avoid saying the word beautiful, but I really do think it's a beautiful thing to like see someone become or what they want to be, or like when that image in their head finally becomes a reality. It's a very, very,
Yeah.
very cool moment. It's very
Yeah.
wonderful. Um, so you are all so okay. Let me back up a little bit for my own thoughts here. Uh, the show has been going on for I'm gonna get it's like
I think
13
it's
years, 14
yeah.
years, something like that.
I think so. I think it's 13,
It's kind of, yes, it's definitely. I mean,
12
it's.
to
I was gonna
14.
say I
It's in
know it's
there.
more than 12,
Yeah.
so at 12, we'll just call it 12 plus. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so in that time, you've definitely gone to conventions. You've
Mhm,
actually,
mhm.
that was where I first ran into you. And it's not only is it an amazing place, like a safe space for a lot of like us nerdy individuals to get together and truly enjoy something that we enjoy, but you also truly enjoy conventions.
I
uh
love them.
and so like what is your like go-to things to do immediately when you go to conventions? Are you a like let's do all 3 days type of person, or are you like here's the events that I have to hit, and then whatever else happens?
I am very chill whenever it comes to conventions, but I'm also probably like a horrible person to go to conventions with if you actually want to like do the things. I don't think I've ever gone to maybe I've gone to like two panels,
Mm-hmm.
but they were panels that were like put on by friends. I will go and support my friends, but not that their
Absolutely.
panels aren't like other panels aren't good, but I like to walk around and see people. I love to go to Artist Alley. That's the part I'm hitting up every single time. I'm never going to miss an Artist Alley. But I definitely like to do all 3 days because I feel most of the time you've traveled for the convention. So I want to get like as much as I can. I'm trying to think of like any conventions I've been to where the place is really cool. PAX Unplugged. So like the past couple of times whenever I've gone, like we try to do some Philly things also, so it's not just the convention. And I like
Right.
that. If there's like a little local stuff being included also is super fun. But most of the time I am like 3 days, all days for the conventions. I want to walk the floor. I want to look at all of the art. I don't need to go to any panels, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think I'm a big people watcher.
Yeah. I love that.
That's what really I do like to stop and see. I'll play some like Gen Con and stuff like that. I'll do like demos for games, but also I don't know, I'm not super big on just wanting to like sit and play the game. I want to like walk and look at stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the worst person when it comes to just being in a room full of advertisements, because
Yes.
uh,
God.
yes, thank you. It's I have to like actively put a budget in my pocket because if I have just like if free will fully takes over,
I'll be
all
bankrupt.
my
I
bills are
will
gone to shit. That's not
I will
happening. We'll be
I
homeless
will,
in a month. Like,
yeah,
they
I will
got
never
nothing.
financially recover.
Kids will never go to college. We're never getting new cars. Like,
Overrated.
not happening. It's never. All right.
Bring back the horse and buggy.
That's well. I mean, we will after I
Oh, okay.
spend it all. It's gonna be
Yeah, I was gonna
terrible.
say actually, it might be more expensive to have a horse.
Yeah, that's true. It might. Um, yeah, there was definitely some moments where going to PAX Unplugged, I really wanted to sit down and like play some games, but I lose track of time very 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 easily when I'm like at conventions, and so one of my biggest problems is I always have to go with somebody, and not
Yeah.
because like I can't do it by myself, but because big shout out to one of my best buds out there, Noah. He's my big convention dude. I love him to death. But he knows me and he gets me, and he knows that if I'm distracted, I won't eat. And it's not
Oh.
because of like a self deprivation. No, it's because I'm
Yeah, no.
so into what I'm doing, I don't eat. And so when we went to PAX Unplugged, um, the last time we went, it was like this. I was so excited to just see everything, and then it got to like 4:30, and I was like, brother, I'm dying right now. I like my body's shutting down, and I don't know what to do. I'm like my legs hurt, my stomach hurts. I'm sad and I'm angry at the same time, and I don't know what's going on. And he goes, buddy, we haven't eaten since like 6 o'clock this morning. And I go, I don't know what's going on, and I just want to be better. And he's like, let's go take a break. Let's go get some food. I was like,
I'm not saying that neurodivergent people we can't take care of ourselves, but it is nice to have a more neurotypical person who
yes.
can direct us in the ways to keep what's a good
Yeah.
baseline.
Yeah. I always make the joke that I always have to have my exit buddy. So it's like, there's just got to be somebody who's like, hey, did you eat? And I go, I didn't. Thank you. Now
No.
I just carry a backpack now, and I'm like, I'll just put snacks in here because eventually I'll forget
Yeah.
about it, and I'll just go to get something out of my backpack and be like, oh, a banana, good, all right, let's eat something real quick. It's
Yeah.
oh,
I love a dark chocolate peanut butter protein bar. I make sure to
mmm,
pack those before I go, and that way, at least it can get me to like the next
mm-hmm,
time I can grab food. So
yes,
that's where I'm like, you need it. Because there's been far too many times where I get stuck. And also, so like for our group, we tend to have like a big group whenever we go. So everyone's leaving at different times. So there's like different lunch groups. And so you might like be hungry at one point, but you're not with the group that's going to lunch. So then you
Yeah.
miss, but then the group that you're with doesn't like decide that they're hungry until later. But by then you're almost at your dinner time. So they're like, oh, we'll just wait till dinner. And you're like, I'm going to fucking
Yeah.
die.
No,
That's
1,000%.
so I was like, bitch, you need to carry some protein bars with you.
I've been a part of groups before where nobody wants to be the one to say I'm hungry because they don't want to like pull everyone else away from stuff. And
You don't
so
want to break the vibes.
yeah, we go to like the entire day before someone's like, all right, listen, I'm so sorry, but I'm starving. And we're like, I'm starving. And we're like, how long have you been hungry? Like 5 hours. And we're like, we've been hungry for like 5 hours. We're like, someone just say something. We're
Oh
all
my
too
God.
polite. Like, stop. We gotta go eat, you know?
For real.
We're all just trying to be too nice. And that's you know,
Yeah,
it's never a bad thing, but still,
it
drink some
isn't. It
water, go eat
isn't.
some food.
But this is that is the one thing I will say is at a convention. I am a big. I have my water bottle. I carry it with me. I go to the mall with my water bottle. I go grocery shopping with my water bottle. I literally went to go get gas one time and I about died because I didn't have my water bottle. And
Yeah.
the gas station is less than a mile down the road. So I like that is the one thing I can at least do well with
Yeah.
is drinking water. As long as they have it accessible,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like a lot of places their little water fountain things are almost broken, or they're
Yeah.
like
Or they're-
filling it with mildly warm
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
Get
Oh
out
my
of
God.
here.
Thank you. Number one.
Get out.
Thank you.
I hate it.
Put ice in that shit because I'm not drinking some weird lukewarm sitting in the back of the car water. I get it. It's purified and I get it. It's fine. Don't give me.
It tastes like shit.
Don't
Warm water tastes bad.
get
I don't care.
out of here. Yeah, not for me. I've been doing this thing where like I love tea, but not like the I mean I do enjoy like a convenience store tea once in a while and stuff, but like I enjoy getting like the loose leaf, like imported and stuff, and it makes me
Yeah.
feel so fancy.
Real tea.
But yeah, so I'll brew that up, and so my go-to is I have this big like thermos that I just keep like it's just tea leaves, water, brew it, put it in the thermos. It stays hot all day, and it's just a very lovely little thing. If I need something cold, I just pour it over some ice, and bang, now I have iced tea. And then I also have I have my other cup, which is just water and ice. And I've gotten to the point now where I've just started covering them in stickers from just different places that I go.
Yeah.
And I started learning something about myself, and that is that I weirdly love nerdy things, and then those nerdy things telling other people to quote unquote like fuck you kind of things. And so I just have like and like I didn't realize it until someone pointed it out, but I just have like a bunch of dice that just say like, you win or like fuck off kind of thing. And I'm just like,
yeah.
Oh damn, like I my water bottle's pretty aggressive. I didn't really realize this. Like it's pretty aggressive. Donald Duck's trying to fight you on the other side, and I'm like, I guess it really puts off a weird vibe.
You're like, hey, I would love to teach you about D&D.
Yeah,
Fuck off.
Yeah. I'm like, no, please. It's way more fun than my water bottle, says it's gonna be.
Oh my God.
It's truly, yeah. It's a great time. I think as long as conventions continue to thrive, I think we're just as like a nerd community is going to have is always going to have like a really cool, safe place to be able to just kind of go and like exist. I have not seen a single like I haven't gone to super loads amount of conventions, but the ones that I have gone to, it always seems like everyone is always on the same page, which is incredible. And there's always like if somebody's like I've seen people who maybe struggle to really be surrounded in like social situations a whole lot and stuff, and I see them go and thrive, and I see just the kindness that I see of especially people who show up and do cosplay. Maybe someone who's not typically someone who would walk up to anybody and start a conversation will just walk up to like a cosplayer and be like, can I take a picture? And everybody's like, of course, like go for it, like live your life. And it truly is just a very heartwarming, like I get pretty bad anxiety, which is actually why I got a medical card. It kind of like brings down the the stress of too much. I get very overstimulated a lot, which is
Yeah.
where a lot of my struggles with going to conventions really were like preventing me from going in the beginning. And then, you know, I've also like know myself enough to know like, hey, I got to have an exit buddy. I got to, you know, maybe take you know, a couple hits or something before I go into a convention to kind of
Yes.
like mellow the mind out. And I've noticed that, you know, doing conventions, you know, the initial getting over that anxiety as I enter the convention, you know, I can control that. But once I'm in the convention, it's I'm good. Like it's the weirdest thing. Like just being around
Yeah.
people who I'm like, oh, everyone's struggling with the same thing I am right now is
We're
perfect.
all anxious and
1,000%.
scared
Yeah,
and
it's the greatest.
yeah,
It
that was
truly is the greatest.
I I it sounds weird. I feel like every time I talk about weed, it really does make it sound like um I don't want to say that I have a problem. It just sounds like I lean on it a lot. But at the same time, like you said, I have a medical card for it. And going to conventions before was just like so tiring at the end of the day.
Yeah,
But now, like being able to, Jennifer and I have like a little, whenever we go to conventions together, we'll be like, do you want to go outside for a minute? And you go out and it not only does it like, I guess obviously with the weed give you the ability to like calm and
sure.
like not focus so much on everything that's happening, but it gives you that chance to just like get outside and get away from everything
Yeah.
for a minute, go to, and I think that's also like part of why it's so helpful is because it's just like reminding yourself of being like, I need to remove myself from this chaos for a while
Yeah.
and then and go back into it.
Yeah,
But
you gotta
it's
kind of mellow out the anxiety a little bit and kind of remind your brain that like, hey, everything's okay.
yeah.
You know?
And I think that that's part of the reason why the time goes by so fast too. You get just a little toasted, and
Yeah.
then you go back in there and walk around, and you're looking at everything and having a great time. Then what do you know? 5 hours went by.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They say time flies when you're having fun, and I'm having a great time. All right. I'm walking around and I'm seeing the coolest stuff ever. Yeah,
I'm
it's
buying everything.
I'm
I'm looking at
legitimately buying everything. It's a
far too
problem. It
much.
is a problem.
It's also the worst part is that like you go and then you see it and you're like, well, if I don't buy it here, I literally cannot get it anywhere else. I have to get it here.
That's what I
And
keep telling
I'm
myself.
supporting an artist.
Yeah. See? We have the same brain. It's perfect and very dangerous.
It is, yeah. I've supported so many artists and myself into debt.
Yeah. Actually, the last convention I just went to, the Too Many Games Con, there was I was just there. Here's the terrible thing. I went there to literally like promote and do interviews for this show.
Mhm.
And I didn't do it at all because my brain was focused on everything else at the exact same
Oh
time.
yeah.
But I'm also a huge fan of Baldur's Gate 3. And you know, one of the voice actors plays Astarion, Neil Newbon. It just
He
happened.
was there.
Oh my god. Nico, let me tell you what I did. Okay, it wasn't great, but so I find out that he's there. Or the best part is I was going regardless, and then I found out Neil Newbon was there, and I was like, okay, let's take this one easy. Let's calm down. Okay, we're gonna walk by. We're gonna have our fangirl moment. We're gonna go, hey, look at that. All right, fantastic, and we're gonna keep going. Right?
Okay, wait, do you prefer not to have an encounter and actually meet the person? If there's a celebrity I like, I don't want to meet them. I just want to see them up close and then be like, that's really cool. I can see you.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh my, okay, I don't want to talk to them
Well, and
because it's too much pressure.
well, I'll tell you. Let me write it down because I'll tell you something after we're done recording because it's not
Okay, yeah,
you
yeah.
know because of what we were talking about before the recording. I'll tell you a little
Yes.
more about that. There was but when we did go to Too Many Games Con, I was like, all right, listen, Neil Newbon is like a whole different like breed for me. Like I need to get something physically just because like this is like to have a game that brought like D&D, something that I love so unbelievably much, into the closest representing form to like in video game form that I've ever seen, and like truly have enjoyed. I've put, I don't know, like 600 hours into that game, and it's not super proud of it, but I definitely love this game unbelievably.
Yeah.
And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to make another circle around. I went back down to that, the artist alley, and I found this guy who does like charcoal, drawings and stuff. And he had one of, of the characters. So there was Astarion, there was Karlak, and then there was Lae'zel. And I was like, I need all three of these. Please just take all of my money. And he was like, do you want to know how much it is? I was like, just take the wallet, give me back
Don't
what's
care.
left. Just, do your thing,
Yeah. Do you want the sale? Because if you tell me how much it is, I may not buy it.
I'm going to hand you a handful of money, and then you take what you think is appropriate.
Yeah.
So I took the Astarion, and I went back, and I was like, listen, like we were legitimately live streaming on Twitch from the convention. And then at one point, I was like, this is going to be the best way that I can distract myself. And then my camera dies. And I'm like, I have to charge this thing. Guess the best place to charge this would be in the line to go meet Neil Newbon. So I threw some more money at a guy who was like, hey, do you want to sit in this line? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Here's another bag of money, And so I get up there and they're like, do you want a picture? And I was like, I came prepared. I got this, And so I went through, and I got it signed. I got to talk to him. An incredibly genuine, very sweet, individual. One of the greatest humans I've ever met on this planet, who genuinely actually cares, for like his, fan base and everything. Absolutely love Neil Dubon. But now I have it, and it's I keep it in the protective sleeve because I haven't purchased the right frame yet. And like, I refuse.
That's the worst part.
I refuse to take it out because I'm like, if anything ever happens to this thing, like.
Yeah, and if it's charcoal, you don't want it to like smudge or anything like that too. So
yeah, it's a good time. I'm very happy with it. But it goes kind of with the same thing where I'm like, I can't self-control in these places. I don't. It's non-existent.
Zero.
I don't have it.
What is that? Yeah,
I can't do it.
I don't have bills whenever I'm at conventions. I don't have financial obligations whenever I get home.
I get home and my wife's like, how was it? And I go, let me just start. I apologize. I'll I'm gonna do some overtime.
So hard. Yeah.
I figured my birthday was next year, so I thought I'd get a head start on it.
Yeah.
It truly is. It's a fantastic thing.
It is.
So there was one last subject. I literally could talk to you all day, but I don't want to hold you up completely. But I wanted to go one more subject, which is obviously I'm a huge fan of, where's my camera, of tattoos.
Yes.
And I know that you have a couple. Do you have a favorite? Do you have future plans for some? And if if you like won, I don't know, let's say like a sweepstakes of just whatever you wanted as a tattoo, cost was completely out the window, what would you do?
Okay. Yes, I do have one. It's this one. I don't know that I can't get this up all the way, and I don't wear shirts under my sweatshirts. I'm sorry. So let's turn the sweatshirt into
I'm impressed. You got that sleeve way up there. So
it's all the way.
You nailed that.
This one's my favorite one. This is like my first big one. And it's I have thought about like the concept for this tattoo for like 10 years, literally, before I got it. But it is a Western hognose. Can't see his little face. It's so cute. Little Western hognose, and a chrysanthemum and a spider chrysanthemum and a death head moth. And I got them because Silence of the Lambs is one of my favorite movies, and so is The Shining. So the snake has the carpet pattern for The Shining on it, instead of the traditional hognose. And then the chrysanthemum was supposed to be a dahlia at first, but because I love like the I say like love, but I find there's certain like true crime stories that I find extremely fascinating,
Mm-hmm.
and Elizabeth Short is one of them. I think it's one that gets a lot of people into true crime. Um, and so I wanted to do like a dahlia for her, but then the chrysanthemum just looked better compositely and or with a composition. And also it's like a death flower in a lot of cultures too.
Yeah.
So that's like my horror sleeve and are part of it. But that's my favorite one. And then I have another one that I just sent a request for an appointment to a
Nice.
an artist, but they're one where they're like, I'm opening my books for the next like it's for like the mid part of the year, so it's not
Mm.
until summer, and they're probably not gonna like look at the submissions until like next month. And I'm like, I want a tattoo so bad. But I want to get Baba Yaga's house. I have a
Nice.
couple. Yeah, I love Baba Yaga. I have a couple of degrees in Russian, and so I want to get like some things that just mean. I like things that have a meaning to me, but that aren't just like super. I don't know, like on the nose for
Yeah.
things. Like I love The Shining, but it was like kind of subtle to do it
Mm-hmm.
as like the snake pattern instead of just like I don't know what else. Not that I love a blatant tattoo also. Anyway, and so I really want to do a Baba Yaga house, and I want to do I have a whole little notes app list of like 12 different tattoos. And then my dream tattoo is there is this person, I think their name is Ozzy. I think it's that. And they are in I think they go between New York and South Korea,
Mm-hmm.
and they do these like really beautiful tattoos that are color. They don't have like black outline, so it's just color, and they do like the blue and white China patterns. They'll
Mm-hmm.
do different things, like different designs, but it looks like that China pattern. And so I've seen them do a haku that like went around someone's like whole arm and everything.
Oh
Oh, it was so
wow.
beautiful. So I would love to have like that kind of like patterning to
Mm-hmm.
look like a piece of like fine china. That would be
Yeah.
cool.
That's very good.
Yeah.
That's
I've
I mean
I love a
that's
tattoo.
definitely a lot more of a detailed answer than I typically get. Someone's like,
I think about the tattoos so much.
yeah, no, I love it because I'm exactly the same way. Typically, the answers I get are like, oh, I would love a huge flower on the side of my face. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, dude, like do your thing, you know. We're not gonna,
Live your truth.
yeah, we're in a judgment free zone. I'm just saying, like I thought there was gonna be a little more detail to it, but like I love that. Yeah, that was fantastic. Like I got lost in that whole like description. That was beautiful. I
Locked
loved it.
in.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, I started with some really sentimental ones, and then I always tell people that I
Yeah.
was like, number one, after your first tattoo, it becomes an addiction. It never stops. You'll just always think about the next one, and then
Yes.
eventually you hit a point where you just kind of run out of space on your limbs, and then you know you're
Yeah.
like, oh well, I have a little spot here. Maybe I could do something here, or I could So I filled one arm. Is I so on like my mom's side, a lot of my family goes back to like Norway, and so like I have like the whole like Norse pagan, like background and stuff
Oh,
going. And
cool.
I'm a huge fan of like Norse mythology. So I basically just filled this arm, camera, of like all my like the Norse mythology kind of things, and I wanted it in like the style that it would have been and like it would have been put on the sides of ships or on shields and like the ones that like tell a story. So like they're
Yeah.
not like heavily detailed, they're like more of just the descriptions. And then hang on, dyslexia, I got to get my angles. And then
It's
these two
camera shit is so hard.
and these two here are just like depictions, but they're my kids as shield maidens, just
Oh
kind of
my
like right
god,
there.
that's
And
so
so yeah,
cute.
it's I filled the arm, and then some of my nerdy stuff. But then like I
I
also
love
the day that I embraced being a nerd, I was like, well, I'm just gonna do one arm is just all nerdy stuff, and so I got like Lord of the Rings. I've
Yeah.
got a Rick and Morty down there. It's a tray of the
Oh my
D20.
gosh.
Yeah, so I'm like I'm all
Ugh,
over the
that
place,
hurts
and
so bad.
the D20, yeah, it was
Yes.
definitely a natural 20 spot. It was pretty great.
Oh
Yeah, it
God.
kind of fucking sucked, but
That's
it's cool.
yeah, that's this I have a big thigh tattoo
Hmm.
also, but like this tattoo was the most painful tattoo. I oh my God. And this was like 3.5 hours and I wanted to die.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it's
couldn't imagine straight in the armpit or elbow pit.
yeah. It.
Whew.
I think what I benefit from is that eventually, like, my skin gets irritated enough that it kind of starts to go numb. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like I've had the same artist for like all but
Oh,
I think two
nice.
of my tattoos. So yeah, it's been really nice. Like we always have something to talk about. It's a nice like distraction.
Yeah.
And then we sit for like I don't go in and say, hey, I want this one tattoo. I say, like, here's my book of ideas. I've got like a
Yeah.
5 hour window. Like, what do you we want to see if we can just knock out how much we can get in 5 hours, kind of thing. And
Damn, that's so
so
cool.
I also have my leg. I have like one Disney esque like tattoo.
Yeah.
Um, and it's basically for my wife and I. It's the there was they had the short
Oh.
the two like mountain or the volcanoes, the I lava you, and
Oh
so
no, I
yeah.
haven't seen
Oh,
that, but that's very cute.
it's a heartstring
Is it?
puller. It gets
Oh,
you.
okay.
It's
Is it like up?
no, it's not like sad.
Okay.
It's like happy sad, like happy tears.
Oh, okay.
Where you're
Okay.
like
Okay.
the lore of it, because it comes from like a real lore, which is that the islands were created by there was a volcano, and he was alone in the ocean, and he grew to be very old, and he never had anybody to share his existence with. And then every day he would sing a song, and then eventually he didn't have the energy to sing his song anymore, and so he became quiet and he started sinking into the ocean. And one day he heard another volcano singing her song, and she started singing it louder, and he brought the energy to really bring it up. And so as he was sinking into the ocean, she was rising out of the ocean, and it was like a kind of just missing each other in the moment kind of thing. And she's in the front looking for the other volcano, and he's sinking behind her, and so she can't see him, but he's too far below
Oh.
the ocean to for her to hear him. And then out of just this like last like bit of like pure like let me sing my song, he erupts, and they form together as one island, creating the
Oh.
islands of Hawaii and stuff. And it's this beautiful song. And so like I kind of
Oh.
felt like there's like this big like meaningful thing with like my wife and I. And I
Yeah.
always joke that like I was like, listen, like I have an ego. I think I'm pretty great, but I tell my wife I'm the shadow in her greatness. And so it's this
Oh.
like, so yeah, I got this like I love you kind of tattoo. And
That's so
it's
cute.
out of like the instead of going with like what the Disney did with it, I
Mhm.
asked that we have like kind of take the faces of the volcanoes and kind of make it within like our likeness and stuff. And so it
Oh,
was very cool.
cool.
It was a good
That's
time.
awesome.
Yeah, I think I have it. I have a picture of it somewhere. After the recording,
Yes.
I'll
Yeah,
show it
yeah,
to
I
you.
want to see it.
Um, yeah, it's I think I've been really enjoying asking everyone that I meet and talk to about like tattoos, because I think it really does get to
Yes.
you kind of get to learn a little more about that person through not only their interests, but like that even that it seems like such a silly question to say, like, hey, money's not a problem, what would your dream tattoo kind of be? And I feel like the answer tells so much about that person and what they would truly put into the thought process, what a tattoo would mean to somebody. Like, I mean, if you truly could get exactly what you wanted, I mean, you're going to put everything that you are into it, and you get,
Yeah.
to me personally, I always feel like I get the most beautiful answers. So thank you.
Oh my God. Thank you. I love talking tattoos. The only problem is it makes me want more tattoos.
It's a problem.
I'm so mad. I always hate to the artist. I've gotten one, I've gotten two of them done by the same artist, and then the rest are done by like separate artists. And the guy who's done two of them, I guess he's my like regular guy. Um, he every once in a while will have cancellations, and I'll see it posted, and I'll just be like, I really want it. I really want to go. But then I always end up, the saving grace is he's in Kansas City, and I always end up seeing it like
Mm-hmm.
a couple hours later. So I live 2 hours away from that. So it's like I can't get there
Yeah.
in time for your 8 a.m. start time. And
It's
he's a long tattooer. So
yeah. Yeah, it's I there was one guy I did a trip to California just for I think we were like visiting like family and stuff and of course like weed's legal in California and so we took a trip over to one of the dispensaries and then like the funny thing was like directly above the dispensary or something was a tattoo shop and it was like one of those moments where we're like you wanna we're like I wanna and you're like you wanna so my wife's cousin and I got matching tattoos.
I love it.
and so and so we got a Nintendo 64 controller.
Oh, cool.
And it was really fun. It was cool, but the artist was very detail oriented and so like the tattoo took like half the day, which
Oh my gosh.
was kind of ridiculous because this hang on sorry there we go that's the tattoo and I'm like this doesn't really feel like doesn't really feel like it should have taken 6 hours but the guy really liked to talk and I enjoyed having the conversation with him but it was like at one point I was like hey man I understand that you're doing the tattoo but this kind of hurts so like when you do one line and then talk to me for 20 minutes like I stop feeling the feeling of pain anymore and then you go right back into it I'm like let's just
Yeah.
let's just knock the tattoo out because you're
I
killing me right
couldn't.
now.
Yeah, I don't know that I could do that. I like to talk, but I could very much be one of those people that just like locks in.
Mm-hmm.
My my regular guy, he'll just put movies on. And so we watch
Yeah.
movies and we'll talk like every once in a while and stuff about the movie, but most of the time I'm just like just let me sit there and I want to lay on the bench and just stare at something and brain off.
Yes. Yeah, 1,000%. I love doing the movie thing. The only things that like do get me is that when you get like a weird like obscure like spot and you have to like lay weird, and then you're just kind of like laying face down for a while, and they're just like everything okay, and you're like I don't know I can't see what you're
I
doing. So I
guess.
there's so much trust between you and your artist when you can't
Oh my
see
god.
what's going on, and you're just like I get it, like just don't do me wrong here like
Don't do me dirty. Do you watch them tattoo you?
yeah occasionally yeah I like to watch it but I also like so I really enjoy unique like tattoos and not like just like styles and stuff
Mhm.
so like this one damn it stupid camera I gotta scoot over here this one holy shit where am I here we go this one was all hand poked with
Oh.
it was a three needles put together through the tip of an antler, and then it was just all hand poked. And so what I like doing about it is I took that slow mo camera thing that you have on your phone
Oh
or whatever,
yeah.
and then I took it in super slow mo just to see what it would look like. And it's a really cool video, but it does kind of like gross me out every so often because like you do actually get to see it like
Nice.
it pierces your skin but then as it's coming out like it pulls on the skin and so it's kind of like a little barb in there and so you see yeah it's pretty but it's very cool it's
I can't do it.
yeah it's good times
Anytime I look at my guy, I like to, you check on it every once in a while, just be like, is this going where the stencil was and everything like that. But anytime I look at it, I'll look at it for like 2 seconds and I'm like, "Bloop." Look back at the wall, look at the TV, look at anything, but
yeah
I can't do the visual part.
yeah I've been in the chair enough times that we've he just my artist just keeps like a little thing of Starburst like to the side because you kind of need like the sugar sometimes,
Nice.
especially if like
Yeah.
if your blood sugar's low, you'll be a bleeder, and so like every so often he'll be just like, man, He's like, I love you, but you're kind of making a mess back here. I'm like, all right, my bad. Like, give me like 4 minutes. Let me just down a couple Starbursts. So we'll be back. My blood will go back in my body. I deeply
Yeah.
apologize. I didn't mean to offend.
I'm so sorry. I'm just leaving my blood everywhere.
I'm so sorry here.
Oh my God.
It's the greatest.
It is.
Nika,
It
you are
is.
an absolute treat to talk to.
Oh my God. Thank
I
you.
was so unbelievably excited to have this like episode, and I am so happy that I got to speak with you today. This was
Oh my
truly
gosh.
an honor, a treat. This was a dream come true. I will say,
Thank you.
the day that I went to PAX Unplugged and I ran into you at that convention,
Yeah.
it's a very important day for me. Because not only am I a huge fan of Drunks and Dragons and stuff, and I got to meet you, but also that was the day that I literally decided that this show was going to be a thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and so
Yes.
I got to sit in a panel when they were talked about like, hey, just because you don't think something can be successful or you don't think that you can create doesn't mean that you can't. And they're like,
Yeah.
you create what you want to create, and people will find it. And I thought, you know what, I've always wanted to, but I've always been too shy to. And so that day, like literally, like I think an hour before we ran into you, I looked over at my buddy Noah, who's my exit buddy, and I said, I'm gonna do this. I'm locking it in right now. We're doing this. Like, and he's the most supportive person on the planet. I love him to death. And so just it was that like I think it was just the will of the world. We're like, you know what? Let's just take the
Yeah.
rest of the day. Let's go check out the convention. And then I run into you, and I was like, this is it. And so, yeah, that day was the day
Hell
that this show
yeah.
was created. And so
Oh
I'm
my
very
God.
happy. I'm very
I
proud of
love
this,
it.
and I'm very, very happy and honored that I got to sit down and talk to you today.
Well, I'm so excited that you asked. This was super fun. I really appreciate it. And I've had a blast.
You're amazing. There is at the end of every episode, I always truly, truly, truly love to leave the end of the episode completely open for you to plug anything and everything that you want to. Literally
Oh my
anything that you are
gosh.
doing to, I don't know, a sandwich you had last week. Like, go absolutely buck wild. And then everything that we talk about, I always love to plug at the bottom of the description of this episode. And then the only thing I ask is that at some point between today and maybe like the end of the weekend or something, just send me the links so that I can post them.
Okay, cool. I guess one, definitely go listen to Greetings Adventures. Like we've been saying, there's 12 years, 13 years of content. So if you want to listen to something and you're like, man, I've got a 500-hour road trip coming up, this is the
Wow.
show for you. You won't even make it through it in 500
that is
hours.
such a road trip, and you'll only get like a quarter of the way, maybe.
Yeah. You're driving down to Peru. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Around the world in 500 hours. I get it.
Yeah. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, literally wherever you listen to podcasts at Greetings Adventures. We are on Blue Sky at D&D Podcast. We also have a YouTube that's Geekly Inc. and Twitch is Geekly Inc. also. I personally have a Twitch, and it's Nika_Howard. Sometimes I forget what it is. And I have a Blue Sky, which is Nika Howard. And I also just have, I simplified it. I made a website. It's just nikahoward.com. So you can go find everything.
Nice.
I do the spicy adult stuff too, if that's your jam. I haven't done any, besides this one, I haven't done any other like podcasts or anything. So I can't really plug that, but go listen to your friends' podcasts. Go support your local drag queens, go get involved in your local communities and help out the people that need helping. Because we were talking earlier about kindness and community at conventions. We can make that everywhere in our own little home communities. So go do it.
Absolutely.
And listen. And go give reviews. Go rate and like 5-star and review your favorite podcast.
Yeah, that so well said.
Thank
Incredible.
you.
I love it. Yeah, that, and I'm really happy that you said support those who you can support, because to finish out this episode, I wanted to announce that because of, as of this recording, we are sitting at February 28th, which for those who know and have been hanging out in our streams, know that our February charity stream month has come to a close, and I am very, very, very happy to say that the wonderful and amazing Controller Quinn, who came up with the entire umbrella campaign that all of the rest of us were participating under, as a whole, have raised well over $5,000 for the
Woo.
Lymphoma and Leukemia Society, and
Oh my
I just
gosh.
wanted to, since this, since the podcast will come out and everybody will be able to hear this, I wanted to bring a big thank you out to everyone who came and supported, who just hung out in the streams, who were there for basically everything from the very beginning, from all of our conversations, our deep dives, our interviews, and it truly, from me to all of you, I'm genuinely so thankful, and I appreciate every single one of you.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Nika, I hope you have an
Oh
amazing
my
day.
gosh.
Thank you so unbelievably much for being here today. I don't know what I'm going to have to do to convince you to come back on the show, but I will tell you
I
right
will.
now, I will do it. Name your price.
Done.
I will do it.
Done. I had so much fun. So say less. Just let me know. And yeah, we'll do it. I'm
Fantastic.
crying. I had so much fun. I'm crying.
Well, to the rest of you out there, do yourselves a favor. Go outside, look up at the sky, feel the sun on your face, hug a tree, high five that squirrel, and I will see you on the next one.